Now to that first alert update, Shawano School administrators, parents, and community members meeting right now as well. That school board holding its first meeting since we first told you about disturbing Instagram video of a Shawano Community Middle School student punching another student in class. Emily Riley live at Shawano Community High School with the latest on that district's school board meeting. Emily.
Cami, as you mentioned, that school board meeting has just started, and I spoke with Shawano School Board President Mike Musoff previously about what we can expect to hear tonight. He says he's heard from several concerned parents since that video surfaced online and is expecting more input from them tonight, specifically how bullying is currently being dealt with at Shawano schools. He encouraged parents to bring up any solutions.
And one of the things that we'll do is hear whatever anybody has for ideas to try to make things better. My personal thought is, with this referendum coming up, we need to look at finding a way to increase our staff.
We'll be heading into that meeting now, and we'll have more on that tonight at 10. Reporting live in Shawano, Emily Riley, Action 2 News.